Are you prepared to hit the ground running with your MBA applications? My name is Laura Nelson. I'm an admissions consultant at Target Test Prep with 15 years of experience. I've helped hundreds of candidates secure coveted admissions to their dream MBA programs. In this video, I'm going to discuss key milestones for your MBA application for round 1 in 4 parts. This is going to help you put your best foot forward in the application process. Part 1, take your test, network with programs, and assess your candidacy. It's springtime now, so if you don't have a plan to prepare for and take your standardized test, Target Test Prep has everything you need to tackle the GMAT, GRE, and EA. I advise my clients to prepare a backup date for their test just in case they don't get the score that they want and they need. This just builds a safety net into your timeline and your process. Next, network with target programs. While you wait for the MBA applications to be released, now's a great time to learn more about each of the programs you're evaluating. I recommend that you do this in the following ways. Sign up for virtual info sessions for your programs of interest. This is an easy way to hear from and interact with admissions teams and learn how they talk about the application process along with their program's value proposition. Additionally, reach out to student ambassadors in your area of interest. Most programs have a group of ambassadors who are willing to speak with prospective students just like you. Ask them for 15 minutes of time to discuss their experiences at the program and ask your questions. Finally, assess your candidacy. Request your transcript from undergrad institutions and other degrees. Do you have a low test score or GPA? If your test score is not on target, you have time to prep and take it again. If your GPA is lower than the average or on the low end of the range of your target program or programs, you have time to create what we call an alternate transcript and take a graded course. I recommend online courses from institutions like UCLA or UC Berkeley Extension, though there are plenty of options out there. Make sure the course is quant-oriented and that you get an A grade. If you're light on extracurriculars and volunteering, now's the time to step it up. While this may be only a few months old by the time you submit your applications, it's better than having nothing to share. By opening applications for your target MBA programs, you'll become familiar with the essays and other application requirements. You'll gain an understanding of how many recommenders you need and the process for soliciting their feedback, and you'll get a view of that program's data form. These are all the short answer questions within the application itself. These can take time and they're important to your application. So by opening an application, you'll start receiving information from your programs of interest and about info sessions and more. But don't worry, you don't have to commit to applying just by opening an application. Next, as you ramp up activity on your application, it's time to assess your career goals. Now, some candidates have a strong idea of what they want to do when they complete their MBA, whereas others have some more introspection to do. Make sure that you have this dialed in before starting on your application essays and short answers. You should be able to identify the type of company with a couple of examples and the industry you wish to enter post-MBA. Ideally, there's some through line or some transferable skill set to your future goal from where you are right now. You should also have a sense of how this short-term goal leads to your long-term plans. If you're unsure what this arc looks like, take the time to do some research. Talk with current students pursuing your desired career paths. Research job descriptions on LinkedIn and other sites for companies that hire MBAs, and network with alums and others in your network who are following your desired career path. Next, get started on your resume. Take note that the MBA application resume will look different from your job search resume. The goal for the MBA resume is to highlight achievements rather than your day-to-day responsibilities. Show impact, measurable or otherwise, through each of your roles and activities. Additionally, highlight your extracurricular activities from undergraduate to the present day. Follow the instructions outlined by each of your target programs. Many of them want to see a one-page resume, and getting all of your professional experiences, education, and extracurriculars will require a few iterations of your resume. Many MBA candidates apply to at least 4 to 6 programs. So they have a number of application essays to prepare. Application essays will vary in detail and length, and they may change from year to year. So I don't recommend getting started on essays from this year until the next admissions cycle application is released. Spend some time brainstorming potential topics and stories for your essays, and avoid the temptation to sit down and try to write the whole thing at once. Start with an outline. This will give you a roadmap for where you want to start and finish and key points to make. This makes the act of writing the actual essay a lot more efficient. If you're stuck on ideas and topics, this is where your MBA admissions consultant can be super helpful. You can also crowdsource ideas on essay topics and stories from your friends and family where appropriate. For example, Duke Fuqua's School of Business has a 25 Things About Me essay where people who know you well can reflect on what makes you unique. However, I wouldn't lean entirely on friends and families for help on your essays. While they often have good intentions, most are not experts on the MBA admissions process. Finally, now's the time to engage your recommenders. I advise that candidates put together a packet, including their resume and outlining their goals for pursuing an MBA, along with the instructions from the applications for your specific programs. Schedule a time to meet with your recommender and discuss the process. This will make things a lot smoother for your recommender and ensure that it gets done. Follow your target program's instructions and choose people who know you well, who can use specific examples highlighting your strengths and areas of impact. It's really important to know that you should not write your own recommendations. This goes against the honor code and policy of many MBA programs and their application instructions. If your recommender insists on this or doesn't have time to do it, find someone else who does. I recommend giving your recommender 4 to 6 weeks to complete the task. Part 4, finalize your applications. By late summer and early fall, you'll be getting ready to hit submit. Here are the things you should be focusing on as part of finalizing and submitting your MBA applications. Proofread your essays and your resume. Work with your MBA admissions consultant. Recruit a friend or a family member to do the same. Direct friends and family to focus on grammar, sentence structure, and the authenticity of your materials. A word of caution, if the person's not familiar with current MBA admissions processes, do not let them derail your entire application at the last minute. Submit your video essays and schedule early interviews, if applicable. Some programs have video essays and early interview options that should be completed as part of your initial submission. Invest the time to do these well. Check in with your recommenders and make sure they have submitted. Finally, take the time to complete your short answer questions. These should not be left to complete in a rush at the last minute on the due date of the application. Your responses are important to paint the full picture of your candidacy for the admissions committee. So make sure you're diligent with these questions as much as you are with the rest of your application. A word of advice, submit your application before the due date. If you wait until the very last minute, you risk a logjam with the site traffic. Sometimes the application sites crash, and missing the deadline will push your application to the next round.